start talking about S.I.D.E.S, your second album, which is the first album where you have been an executive producer on the entire album under your own record label, Paper Plane Records. Mm-hmm. So what made you make this decision and what it has meant to you?
So the reason I wanted to kind of be an executive producer on this is basically because I love production and I wanted to kind of challenge myself and see if I could do it, and just try it out. And I feel like I have an idea always of like what direction I think at some point the album should go in. It took some time with this album. Like it wasn't very obvious in the very beginning. But yeah, I think I'm always someone like I have clear visions of like certain sounds and certain ways I want things to sound like. And so yeah, it was a great challenge. And I mean, having our own record label as well is a lot of work, but it's so rewarding as well to know that we own the rights and to know that like that we kind of can influence it the way we want to. So yeah, it's been a crazy ride.
And well, some days ago on Instagram, you said releasing an album is always such a roller coaster ride, but then playing the songs live for the first time on the same weekend is mind-blowing. I would say it is a big challenge. What has been your biggest challenge so far?
The biggest challenge so far, I think, has been exactly what we just kind of talked about. Like starting a record label was a huge challenge because we didn't really know what we were doing. And also doing this album, like being the executive producer, like the creative producer on it and overseeing the whole project and knowing that like I'm the one who's in charge of everything and has to go through all the stems and all the mixes, and I have to make sure everything fits together. And that was a lot of work and used up a lot of time and effort. So those were probably the two biggest challenges I've had.
You released your second album, S.I.D.E.S, and the campaign has seen you raise the bar on what you achieved with your debut album. Mine, a very personal album released on 18th January 2019, including your singles, No Roots and Lash Out. How have you experienced this moment?
I think I've experienced it in different ways. Like it hasn't just been one moment. It's been a lot of different moments in my life that I've realized what actually is happening. It took me a long time to process all of that because like I had no idea that No Roots was going to take off. It was the first song I ever put out. And so I've just been very thankful about that process and thankful that people enjoy listening to the music.
And S.I.D.E.S has brought you many other moments, such as being top 10 placement in Europe, becoming a judge on the Voice of Germany, touring the USA with Bastille, a concert with the Frankfurt Radio Orchestra of your biggest songs. Can you tell me how do you feel about those moments?
I'm just very thankful that I get to have special moments, but it's not just about that, you know, it's like, I just want the music to get out there. I want people to enjoy the music and I just want people to appreciate it and see how much work goes into it, like every artist does. So, or them showing that the music isn't written for nothing and that resonates with people. I think that's the biggest reward. So I love that.
And the message you want to give us with S.I.D.E.S is there is never one reason or one solution or one side of a story. Sometimes you feel stuck in a certain state of mind and something seems impossible to overcome, but that is only one side. Once you start to see the different sides of yourself and the world around you, you realize that everything becomes less overwhelming. That's the story of what you experienced in that period of lockdown. What was for you the worst part of all of this? And what you learned from this?
I mean, the worst part of lockdown was not being able to see friends and family, being stuck in one place and feeling like you're kind of doomed and not really knowing when the last, like when the light at the end of the tunnel is coming, you know, like there was just so little hope at that stage.
And what did you learn from that?
I think the biggest lesson I've taken out of the whole experience is learning to let go, learning a lot about myself as a person, learning what things are healthy for myself and what not, and when to get help and when I see myself kind of at a turning point. So yeah, I learned a lot during this album process, but a lot of what I learned is in the songs on the album.
If you could go back in time, what would you say to the Alice of your early days in the music world?
What would I say? I would tell her to not worry and literally just keep following her heart and what she believes in. And there's going to be times where you feel very doubtful of yourself and you feel like your music is not good or that other people's are better. But I would tell myself to just keep focusing on what you love and what you do and what makes your music special, and don't get sidetracked. Don't look at everyone else. Just keep doing your thing.
And S.I.D.E.S precisely reveals a darker side of you because of having written it during the COVID pandemic. But there is an underlying feeling of hope, providing a burst of optimism, energy, liveliness, and inspiration to all of those who have suffered in recent years. Indeed, your last song, the album, The Other Side, with a very optimistic and colorful video. What feedback are you getting about the song?
I've gotten a lot of feedback that it's helped a lot of people that have also felt similarly to how I felt during that time, where I felt like I was kind of trapped in this dark hole and couldn't climb out. I felt depressed. I felt sad. I felt helpless. I felt like giving up. Yeah, I think those are like the biggest feelings I had. And I think a lot of people have kind of written to me and said that The Other Side has given them a lot of hope and it just kind of makes them feel good, that when the chorus opens, it's kind of this anthemic feeling that you just want to like scream out loud, I'm on the other side, you know, like even if you're not there, to have this hope that at some stage you will be there is kind of, yeah, it's helpful. At least for me it was.
And what would you say to someone who is going through a bad time?
For someone who's going through a bad time, I would say, remind yourself that there will be a time where you feel better, and it's okay to feel horrible now, but just keep reminding yourself that it will be over, and keep focusing on the good, because even though it doesn't feel like there's that much good in the world, or that life is a beautiful place, sometimes it's important that you kind of just remind yourself of things that you love and things that bring you joy, because often we forget about that.
And Blindside, you talk about some people who you met and worked in the past with who made you feel trapped. How and when could you free yourself from that trouble?
I think I freed myself from that when I realized this person was unhealthy. I think that was about a year ago, and it wasn't necessarily done all by myself, but rather of looking in on certain key aspects of like their behavior and why they act like that. And you should only work with people that treat you with respect and treat you with the same kind of the same kind of respect that you give them. And if they don't do that, then they're not worth your time.
And you grew up in Canada, finished your studies in Germany, and moved to England, which is what Roots from your debut album Mind is all about. How has this influenced your life?
I mean, my first album definitely influenced my life, like traveling around so much and trying to kind of make sense of it all and feel okay with having lived in so many different places. Definitely had an effect on me. But now looking back on it, like I'm just so happy that I can use songs and albums to kind of digest what I've been through in my life and my feelings and my emotions. And I love how I get to kind of tell stories about people I know and experiences I've had and design them in a way that kind of can be catchy songs or fun to play live, fun to listen to. So yeah, I think it's just so much fun, and I'm so glad I get to do that.
And you recently toured with Bastille, as I said before. Who else would you like to be on stage with?
I'd love to one day be on stage with the Killers. I think they're one of my favorite bands. Regina Spektor as well. She's also one of my favorite singers.
How do you feel on stage?
I get very nervous on stage, but it's become a lot easier now after the pandemic. And I did have to go to therapy to kind of work on my fear for performing on stage and standing in front of people. But I'm enjoying it so much more, and I feel much more relaxed and excited to go on stage in a positive way now.
Could you tell me a dream you would like to fulfill?
I'd love to play a festival in Spain. That is a dream that I'd like to fulfill. That hasn't happened yet. So hopefully, fingers crossed, next year we'll be playing a festival in Spain.
I hope you can make it here.
I hope so too. I'm in Madrid right now, so I'm hoping that we can make it happen.
So thank you for this great time. I'm sending you a hug from mirollo.s from our team, and I wish you good luck in all your concerts.
Thank you so much. That means the world to me.
Thank you very much.
Thank you for your time.